Stay tuned, you're watching CTV News, made for students, by students.
Welcome to CTV News. I'm Eugene Daniels.
And I'm Kirsten Swanson, filling in for Hannah Tran.
Now tonight, President Obama gave his much anticipated address to a joint session of Congress where he introduced his new plan, the American Jobs Act. President Obama said the plan is one that gives us hope, saying it would cut payroll taxes, extend unemployment benefits, give hiring incentives for all businesses, but most important, create jobs for teachers, police officers, and firefighters. The American Jobs Act will be completely funded by cuts in government spending and not by any taxes of the American people. But despite the high hopes of President Obama and his plea throughout his speech, quote, "You should pass this bill right away," some Republicans have focused on the fact that they think this speech was the first step for his re-election campaign and that it's not a real solution to our economic problem. Now, in the past few weeks, we have been seeing it on the news. We've been reading about it in newspapers, and it's in our own conversations. The 10th anniversary of the tragic day, September 11th, is this coming Sunday, and it seems as though the memories of that day are closer than ever.
That's right, Eugene. Many of us can remember where we were on that day, even how we felt. The images have been placed permanently in our minds, never to be forgotten.
Was in class when we were actually in I had gym at the time, and we came back to class and the TVs were on, and our teachers were like just wicked upset, and I had really no idea, and then when I came home I knew what happened, but I'm from Boston, so Logan International was where it took place, so it kind of hit close to home.
On 9/11, I was in India, and it was a morning in our lab. We all were doing experiment, and suddenly one of our very good friend just barged in the lab. She was literally crying, and she said her brother had called up, and there was this kind of terrorist attack in US, and he was doing his engineering in New York, and we all were quite close to her, so it was real shock to us.
Well, on 9/11, I remember having breakfast with my friends, and there was a TV in the restaurant, and we started looking at what we thought was a cartoon or a fairy tale, and it was actually the real thing. So most of us went home. That time I was an employer, and I sent all my employees home for the day. And most people were pretty rattled. I think everybody stayed pretty glued to the TV for quite a while.
I was actually in New York City. My father has been working there for about 20 years now, but that day it was, I guess, some sort of take your child to work day. I don't really remember, it was a while ago. And I went with him to his office, and we got there early. We probably got there around 7:30, and about 8:30 or so, we got a call that, the first tower got hit. And because his building was a certain height, all buildings of that height had to be evacuated. So we had to leave, and it was basically just chaos outside. And we were a good, I don't remember where his old office was. We were a good 30, 40 blocks away from the World Trade Center area, but it was still insane. People were, and we hadn't seen anything on TV about it or anything. We just heard the phone call at that point. We just, that's what we had to go off of. But it was just crazy. We go outside, there were a million people trying to make phone calls, cars just stopped in the streets and everything, people looking up, and, if you look that way, you could just see the smoke start rising. Obviously, as the second plane hit and the towers collapsed, it was obviously a lot worse. I think at that time, because the first plane had only hit, and the second plane hadn't come yet, it was just initial shock. Like, we didn't know what was going on. It was an accident, and then it became clear once the second tower hit, something fishy's going on.
There will be many forms of remembrance this weekend, one being Colorado Remembers, taking place at Civic Center Park in Denver with a commemorative concert by the Beach Boys, along with appearances by the National Guard and a military flyover.
Here at CTV, our hearts and thoughts go out to all affected by 9/11 attacks. We'll be right back.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.
And you look heavier. I know. It's the best. That's about 10-15 pounds on me.
C'est pas un prénom. Une deux. Il va falloir trouver.
Oh! Is that your time machine?
Yeah.
When I was 7 years old, I had a dog that was playing with grasshoppers that were jumping around that had been sprayed with an organophosphate.
Commander Daniels, where's your wingman, son?
Dead, sir.
You know how this looks.
I did not violate the rule of engagement. Check my logs.
The only known symptoms of this horrible disease is spontaneously bursting into song, and for some, breaking into dance in the final hours of their life.
Welcome back to CTV. I'm Chelsea Dickerson with your Thursday weather update. Texas is fighting through its most devastating wildfire in history. In the last week alone, the Texas Fire Service has reported more than 176 fires that have scorched more than 126 acres. As far as we know right now, the wildfire has claimed 4 lives and 1,626 homes have been reported lost. Fortunately, we have great firefighters working as hard as they can to get all of these fires contained. On another note, the East Coast is far from being dry. Pennsylvania has forced an evacuation of 65,000 people due to the major flooding that the tropical storm Lee caused. Also, the East Coast still has their eyes on Hurricane Katia due to their high surf risk and rip current risks. Within the next few days, Katia will be heading northeast and make its way towards the UK, resulting in some gusty winds throughout the northern part of Europe. And now it's time for the 5-day forecast. Tonight we will be seeing mostly clear skies with a low of 48. As for tomorrow, it'll be a lovely day with sunny skies and a high of 73. Later on that evening, we'll see temperatures drop to about 49 degrees. So as far as Saturday through Monday, the temperatures will gradually get warmer with mostly sunny skies, and highs will be in the mid-70s and low 80s. Monday will hit a high of 80 degrees, and later on in the night there will be a chance of showers with a low of 54. Tuesday will continue to drizzle, however it shouldn't last long, and we'll go right back to seeing that sunny sky that you know you love. Well, that's it for the 7-day forecast. Stay tuned, and you're watching CTV 11.
3rd and 2 from the 3. Cornett left side through. That's the 5-yard line.
Join me for all the highlights and game analysis on the Ram Report with head coach Steve Fairchild. Coach Tom Hilbert and players from CSU Volleyball will join us on every show.
First attack was there, good into 45.
Catch all the Ram action every week on CSU TV, Channel 11 Comcast here in Fort Collins.
Hey guys, look at this. Whoa! Is that your time machine?
No, Levi, don't! The door's still open!
Today is my day.
The Laurie Student Center is now in phase 2 of its master plan for renovation. The LSC Theater is undergoing a $6 million facelift this school year. CTV reporter Hannah Tran talked to students and staff about the theater. They see its renovation as an evolution.
Make room for the future. A renovation is underway at Laurie Student Center Theater.
It was really just kind of time for a new update. The LSC itself has been around since 1962, and the theater has been around probably just as long.
The exterior remains, but inside, the traditional layout is no longer set in stone. Seats will be retractable, collapsible, movable.
The most exciting things to look forward to about this project is the versatility of programming that kind of comes out.
An ever-changing and flexible layout, seats arranged in whichever way, a stage that rises and falls, a seatable balcony encircling the entire perimeter.
The versatility is probably the most exciting part. I think it definitely opens us up to a variety of different events.
A flat floor is another feature that allows for multi-purpose, banquets and ballrooms, events never possible before will be.
Well, we can have concerts and we can fit up to almost 1,000 students. Students are going to benefit
Useful yet beautiful. New technologies, windows bringing natural light from the courtyard, wood designs mimicking Horsetooth Reservoir, a taste of the essence of Fort Collins.
We've tried to design the space so that it can be ready for the future.
The Laurie Student Center is scheduled to be finished May 2012. After its renovation, the LSC will go into its next phase, and the last phases of the master plan will redesign the rest of the LSC.
If you walked through the plaza on Thursday, you were met with the mini carnival that was brought to you by ASAP with free popcorn, a spider jump, and an obstacle course. They were all to have fun and gain information about ASAP, put on every year.
Opportunity for people to see what ASAP does, like out here in the middle of classes on the plaza. This is what we do: is we put on events for the student body, and we have our little table here that tells about all upcoming events and also how you personally can get involved in ASAP.
Now the next big event for ASAP is a comedy show starring comedian Chris Tucker on September 25th. It starts at 7:30. Tickets are free for students and faculty and can be picked up starting Monday at the bookstore. Aren't you excited for that?
Yes, I'm very excited for that, Eugene. Fort Collins will be hosting the 6th annual Tri-Media Film Festival. The festival will take place in many venues across Fort Collins, including the Lincoln Center, Boz Blue Theater, and the Center for Fine Art and Photography. Some films featured at the festival will be produced by both professionals, along with students from the Front Range, Colorado region.
Filmmaking is a difficult career to break into. So what's really great about it is that they are given that opportunity to meet filmmakers. So part of what happens is by having their films in, they're getting to debut their film and see what it's like in terms of being in a film festival. And they'll be on a student panel if their film is chosen, so they basically get on a stage and answer questions from an audience. So they get that experience, and then in addition to that, we have a filmmaker panel, and they get the opportunity to then talk to the filmmakers. And that...
For a complete schedule of the film festival, visit the website trimediafestival.org.
Many students on campus have been talking about the unfortunate incident that took place in Longmont earlier this week. CSU freshman Anna Benyati have had her legs severed after she and friends tried to hop on a moving train in Longmont, but she survived and is in critical condition. Train hopping is illegal in the United States, and other people with Benyati will be fined. But Longmont police have decided not to charge her, saying that they do not feel it's in anyone's interest to charge her. We'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Eugene here from Daniels After Dark. As you know, it's our brand new show on our second episode. In this episode, you don't want to miss it. We have the great founders of Determined Nation magazine. It's all about positivity, growth, and determination. Don't miss it this Friday at 8.
Ram football is here, and CSU has a special ticket offer that reserves your seat for 3 of the best home games of the year. It's the Mountain West plan, and it includes San Diego State, in-state rival Air Force, and the eagerly anticipated game versus national power Boise State. Get a sideline ticket to all 3 of these exciting games for only $90. That's a $25 savings from the single game price. Order your Mountain West plan for the low price of $90. Call 1-800-491-RAMS or visit csurams.com.
Welcome back to CTV. In some unfortunate news yesterday, the hockey world was scarred with a tragedy. Labeled as hockey's darkest hour, a Russian plane carrying 45 Russian hockey personnel, 2 of which were previous players of the Colorado Avalanche, crashed, killing all but 2. The Associated Press stated, quote, "Experts blame Russia's problems in the air on an aging fleet, weak government controls, poor pilot training, and a cost-cutting mentality," end quote. Our condolences go out to those affected by this terrible sports tragedy. Now, in other news, CSU volleyball nabbed a great upset against number 5 Nebraska last week, and the team is riding high after a great performance. The match garnered national attention, and Ram fans set another attendance record as over 6,700 fans showed up for this whiteout. I know Coach Hilbert would love to see you all there again tonight, at Thursday night, as they play Nova KBS, an international team. And Ram fans, be sure to stick around this weekend as the volleyball team will take on Wichita State Friday night at Moby. They're also looking to give Northern Colorado a quick night and send them home early with a loss this Saturday. But UNC is sending more than their volleyball team into the fort. The CSU football team will make their debut at Hughes Stadium for the 2011 football season against the UNC Golden Bears. Looks like it's going to be another orange out, and the game looks promising for Coach Fairchild and the Rams. The team is coming off a come-from-behind win against the New Mexico Lobos. The Ram defense wreaked havoc against the Lobos, garnering 10 sacks, 4 of them coming from second-string defensive end Nordley Cappy. Pete Thomas and the offense continue to find their niche as they only gained 270 yards worth of total offense. But Cappy is expected to return as a starter this weekend as Broderick Sargent is out with a season-ending knee injury. We wish you a speedy recovery, Sarge. Now, at last year's Orange Out against Idaho, we got to see what Raymond Carver can do out of the backfield. He had a career high of 224 yards, 120 of those coming from the air. A dynamic player with great speed and agility, Carter has that ability to juke a player out of his shoes and outrun pursuing defenses if he gets into some space. He's itching to have a breakout game early, and this O-line has an opportunity this week to showcase their dominance. Pete Thomas also has a breakout game against a questionable defense. He went 22 for 26 last game, adding to his overall completion percentage. He has the deep ball threat, but only if his own line protects him. And if they don't, we may only see short passes and an offense that will continue to struggle. Let's just hope Fairchild and the Rams don't overlook the UNC Bears. And with that, welcome to the big leagues, Northern Colorado. And just when you thought we were done talking about that mega pool party, we found out middle linebacker James Skelton, who was charged with a third-degree assault at the party, is now only being charged for harassment. All right, Eugene. Now, to Tom Brady as a football boss, you know the guy has captured championships, been on the cover of men's magazines. Certainly, he has a bombshell of a girlfriend. Now, first it was the greasy ponytail, then it's the questionable wardrobe, and now it's the shoes.
You know what, Jordan, I couldn't agree with you more. You guys, you just have to see this video we found on YouTube today.
I came to win, so I'm not here to play. Have fun. Get it, get it.
Wow, this is interesting. It's an interesting video for Mr. Brady.
I mean, go ahead and do a commercial, but we are used to Nike ads. We're used to the, Sprint commercials, but Gatorade, this is maybe something different.
You know what? I guess he figured that it is a recession, so he needs to make his money as best way he can.
And you know what, guys? It's Tom Brady. He can do whatever he wants.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Tom, but I'm not buying those Uggs.
I'm going to agree with Jordan there. Yeah, I'm not getting them.
All right, guys. Well, the game this weekend will definitely bring fans back into Ram country. But what is a football game without a little tailgating beforehand? And before you pregame in the parking lot, take into consideration a few of our tips for successful tailgating. Keep your party under 25 people unless you're in a designated tailgating area. Keep your kegs at home and liquor at home. Don't bring the beer pong table. Leave the glass at home. Use plastic cups while tailgating. And to make a positive impact, hand out plastic cups to tailgaters. Leave any alcohol at your car. It cannot enter the stadium, guys. Well, it sounds like the weekend is going to be a good time. We'll see you all out at Hughes Stadium.
Absolutely. But that's the end of our show. And if you missed anything, remember CTV is always online at ctv11.com, or feel free to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good one.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.